Hello everyone, friends. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how to make video thumbnails that people will want to click on so that we can achieve this kind of CTR. CTR stands for click-through rate. In other words, it's a metric that shows how effectively our thumbnail is working. Thanks to this, my students and I are earning these kinds of amounts on YouTube. And in fact, many people don't realize that the video thumbnail is a key factor in promoting your video. That is, you can make a super cool video, but if your thumbnail isn't interesting to anyone, most likely no one will click on it, and you won't make your $40,000 on YouTube like I did. So today we're going to break down all the intricacies and nuances of how this works and what you need to do to increase your CTR. My name is EGOR, and personally, I've made over 1,000 YouTube thumbnails throughout my career. That's why today I'm going to share my tips and life hacks with you. And of course, I'll answer the main question: how do you promote a video? Let's get started. The first stereotype I'm gonna break in your mind is the idea that to get views you need a beautiful, clickable thumbnail. What do I mean by that? Well, when we really put effort into making everything vibrant, bright, with lighting, shadows, and so on, let's break down a few examples, shall we? How about this one? Some coins, right? A graph, we added some money, a beautiful background, so everything is so bright, there's text, yes, and unfortunately it's hard to see. But that's not the point. Everything looks like some kind of billboard or magazine cover. But in reality, over 9 years, these videos only gotten 500,000 views. You might think that's not a bad result either, but take a look at this video. 2 months ago, the video got 1.2 million views. Let's take a look at what the thumbnail is. Damn, it's just a monkey drawn in paint holding a banana. I told you about this niche in one of my previous videos, be sure to check it out. So the question arises, why? How does this work? It's actually very simple. First, minimalism. Second, a cool idea. Understand this, if we want to explain what inflation is, how money works, how the market is structured, yes, we can add a bunch of charts like these and hope that we'll get results. Yes, add stock images, lots of money, more and more money. But understand, unfortunately, things work a little differently on YouTube. People are tired of that kind of content. And the simplest and best thing you can do is just make a clear thumbnail where everything is readable at first glance. I'm a primate. You're a primate. A primate makes money. A business primate in a suit. That's why this thumbnail works thanks to its minimalism and simplicity. Let's move on. A Minecraft thumbnail. Again, a beautiful golem by the way. That's a character from the game Minecraft. RTX, some kind of super cool graphics, text in the Minecraft style. Notice he even stylized the text. He stylized the text, but if you zoom out a little, it simply won't be visible. What do we see? Yes, the video got 4 million views in 4 years. But here's a video that got 10 million views in just 1 year. Let's remove it and take a look. How is this possible? So basically, it's just a few screenshots of golems from Minecraft. The background from the game isn't even edited. They didn't even add any brightness, contrast, nothing. But the video got a ton of views. It's all about the idea, about uniqueness. Yes, about uniqueness. So look, here the thumbnail is literally about nothing. About nothing. They just added some characters and a nice background. But here, they showed us several types of new characters that weren't in the game before. And that's already kind of a new feature, something that didn't exist before. And it doesn't matter how many filters we used or whether we made the thumbnail look good or bad, it works because it's unique.
If you want to start your own YouTube channel, get it monetized, and earn like my students $200 to $300 a day, then now is the perfect time to follow the link in the description and check out my training lessons at my YouTube Academy. There, you'll choose a relevant niche for a YouTube channel without using your voice or showing your face, launch your channel in a trending topic, and of course you'll be able to fully automate all the processes. It's free for now at this moment. That's why I recommend all of you to go check it out, subscribe, and of course, finally start growing your own YouTube channel. Because right now, this particular field, making money on American YouTube, is exactly the area where you can consistently earn from $5,000 a month. And in many niches, you don't even have to create the content yourself. I've explained all of this in detail in the training. The link is in the description below the video.
And here's another example for you, a survival channel. Yeah, so this guy built a house in the forest, filmed the whole process, showed how he prepares for survival, what tools he uses, and so on. But the video only got 500 views. Someone might say, it's only been 19 hours, give it some time, buddy. But let's take a look at this particular video. 3 days ago, it got 800,000 views on a channel that builds houses. Just so you know, in this video, so you understanding this video, he didn't even build a house like that. This image was generated using a neural network. At the same time, as you can see, yes, the video itself lasts a whole hour, not 2 minutes, but an hour. And here, he just methodically, step by step, builds a house. But that's not important. What's important is the thumbnail. The thumbnail is what we're interested in right now. There is some unclear text here that's impossible to read. From a distance, it's very hard to make out. Bushcraft items, meaning some survival gear. And here is a house, the finished result. So, not the before, but the after, what was achieved. And this is the idea I want to get across to you. Show the essence, the final result on the thumbnail. Show what will attract people, what people are genuinely interested in, yes, directly. And doing all this in a minimalist style is already 50% of success. But that's not all. We're moving on further. What unites all these thumbnails? I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it. What is it that unites all these thumbnails? Each of them is built according to a certain principle. If we break down the image in the following way, yes, that is. If we divide it like this, and like this, for thumbnails, composition is important for YouTube previews, and most often it turns out exactly this way. That is, on the right, we show this tool, add one text in one area and another here. It's the same here, we added Napoleon Hill, added text in white, and separately what we want to emphasize in yellow in the second rectangle. Or here's another example, yes. So in the same way we can break it down. Here we're holding the tool, here we have the finished result, and here is just an empty area. All of these are rectangles. This is a rule of composition. If you stick to this rule in your thumbnails, your previews will stand out more. There are also a few interesting nuances about composition that few people think about. We see a pulley, or rather, a log that has crashed through the windshield of a car. Where does our attention fall first? Where do we focus our attention? First of all, we see, yes, the pole that has crashed into this car. The cover is designed in such a way that it draws our attention right here. How is it done? If we divide this cover into 3 parts, we'll see that the focus is drawn exactly to the intersection of these 2/3, the second and third at the crossing point of the 2/3. It's the same thing here. This guy is jumping well, the mannequin is jumping off the motorcycle and trying to grab onto the car. The emphasis is placed exactly where he's trying to grab on. Or, by the way, here's a not so successful example. 11 months ago, 200,000 views. The plane falls into the water, and it would seem that our attention should be clearly focused on this plane. But it's hard to see here because the pool is blue, and the plane itself is also blue. However, here, things are much better. The plane is clearly visible against the brown grass that is, a blue plane, brown grass, and the nose of the plane is at the intersection of the 2/3, so we can see it well. What conclusion can we draw from this? If we want to draw our viewers' attention to a particular area, the best way to do this is precisely at the intersection of the edges. The same principle works perfectly for covers, where we show a before and after result. If you want to do this, the simplest way is just to combine 2 pictures. In other words, before and after, bad and good. Used to earn $0, now earns $1 million, right? Used to consume all sorts of junk. Basically, lived in a state of dopamine overdose and then switched to detox. Life changed. You might say, well, EGOR, come on, this is basic stuff. It's so banal. I've already seen this everywhere. Well, I agree, okay. But what would you say about this kind of story? It's the same idea, only, as you can see now, we have not 2 pictures, but 3. It's pretty much the same, but for the sake of variety, why not? Or how about this thing, right? So here we're also showing before and after, then and now, bottom and top. But in this way, that is, we divide our cover along a horizontal line, and psychologically, yes, the viewer picks up on this as well. Here's the top, meaning there's some kind of superstructure up there. And here's what's actually happening below. How about this one? If we're talking about really absurd examples of such covers, we could even divide our cover into 64 different squares and show, basically, different images. Again, if there's any point to it. Now let's take a close look at the following covers and figure out what they have in common. Some man is touching a woman. They're building a house. A plane is flying. This is where Mr. Beast's cover comes from. In fact, what all these covers have in common is that they're made in the same color scheme. What do I mean by that? Here we see blue and yellow, nothing extra. Here we see brown and yellow, here we see blue and red, pink and blue and red, right? So again, black and white don't count. Those are just background colors. Everything else follows this single unified style and color scheme. From this we can draw the following conclusion. The best performing thumbnails are those that use 2, at most 3, colors. At most! If we use a whole bunch of different unclear colors, none of that will work. Another interesting fact, minimalist thumbnails, where literally only 1 or 2 objects are depicted, get more views. And here are a few examples for you. This is literally a topic about Lego, about unusual Lego constructions. And here, all we see in the picture is a large sheet made of Lego bricks and a piece that hasn't been finished. Or, for example, here, a huge super tall house from Minecraft that simply couldn't exist in real life. That is, you could have presented it in a beautiful way, made an attractive thumbnail, taken a photo, maybe even drawn this cover from scratch in something like Blender, or generated it with a neural network, it doesn't matter. But here, it's just a screenshot from the game. And look at how well this gets views. Or, for example, here's a thumbnail with 2 cars. So basically the idea here is that the simpler the thumbnail, the easier it is for the viewer to process. Or here's another example for you. If you're making a thumbnail, let's say, with your own face, the best thing you can do is not to have a boring facial expression, but to show some emotion. Well, that's what everyone does. Absolutely everyone. I think you've seen this with pretty much every YouTuber. And now, with all this knowledge, please tell me what's wrong with these thumbnails. Please write about it in the comments. I want to hear your opinion. How would you improve these thumbnails? Once again, this is a Sonic thumbnail. This one is for Poppy Playtime, some kind of GTA video. So, in short, write what's wrong with them and how to fix them so they get more views. This was Igor Firmer. Don't forget to check out this video.